Hi, and welcome to Meet the Eatmons Endangered Species podcast. We're your hosts, Curtis and Spring Eatman, and we're really excited to be here today.
Yes.
So, this podcast is where we help to inspire, uplift, inform, and spotlight families and individuals who are doing something in today's world that we think is kind of special. So, we're excited for today's episode.
Oh, we are.
Yes,
This one's titled The Lost Art of Intimacy.
the lost.
The Lost.
It's an art.
Yeah, you got to have some intimacy in that relationship. So, we're going to talk about reclaiming emotional and physical connection.
Yes.
So, maybe you're a couple that lost that connection, or you want to rekindle it, or you want to make sure that in the future that it never, unfortunately burns out. Well, we think this conversation is going to definitely add some value in regards to your future relationship for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Well, let's get it right into it. I mean, one of the biggest things that I think that's going on today is this concept of porn,
Oh, yeah.
right?
a big
And
issue.
so my question for you, just to kick it off right off the back, is: do you believe that porn consumption has eroded intimacy in the modern relationship?
I think yes. I think years ago, porn addiction was something that you had to seek out.
Oh,
You had to go to sites. You had to,
that's a good point.
read certain magazines. You had to turn on certain material. Where today it's chasing after people.
Wow.
It's like
Wow.
it's as soon as you open your phone, it's in Instagram. And then
Yeah.
you could just literally be looking at a regular post of a regular person, and then two comments down, it's like, if going live right now, whatever, whatever. It's like crazy. It's crazy. Today, everything is sex sells. Everything from commercials. You're looking at a commercial and you're like, that was a chip commercial? Whoa. Whoa. You like that crunch? It's just a lot. It's a
All if
lot.
it's from you, baby. That's it. That's
And so I think that it has changed the way that people do intimacy, because it's like a part of your subconscious. Even if it's not something you're addicted to,
Wow, that's
it's something
good.
that you've been exposed to that starts to create a belief system about what intimacy looks like and what it should be and what sexuality should be. And so I think that it does play a role. So especially for those that are porn addicted or things like that, but really everybody has these issues.
Yeah.
You see certain things in movies, sex scenes, this and that, and you think it's supposed to look like that or it's supposed to be like that.
Yeah.
Or you're like, hey, you're supposed to do this move or you're supposed to be able to do that move. And it's like, that is TV. Get out of here.
Get out of here. Not get out of here.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
No, but I think that it creates a lot of expectation. It creates a lot of
That's good.
idle, or not idle, what's the word I'm looking for? Like
Imagine-
fantasized
imagination,
imagination.
fantasy, yeah,
Yeah, all
okay.
these thoughts and things that people start to create and paint a picture to compare their partner to. Oh, you didn't do this like this. Oh, it's supposed to be like that. You should do X, Y, and Z. And then when your partner falls short because they're not consuming the exact same content as you, or they don't feel confident in that area, or they're not able to rise to the occasion of,
good.
this person or this star or that star, or their body's different and they feel a certain way about their body or structure or all these things. There's just a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure, especially being a woman today.
Yeah.
Like a regular woman with a regular body today. It's a lot of pressure because men are looking at all of this content all day long on regular TV, not even like the stuff you got to pay for, on there, just opening their phone on Instagram, on social media, all these things. And you see these chiseled, perfect bodies with these perky boobs and these bounce a quarter off your booty. And it's like, whoa, I don't look like that. Right? So it's like a lot to
Not about a
freaking...
quarter.
I'm just saying. I'm like, I mean, does everybody in the world have a Brazilian butt lift? What is going on? Like, can we start a fund for me? No, I'm kidding. Little booties matter. But the point is, back to the question.
Yes.
Yes, I think that it creates a lot of a lot of issues in intimacy because people start creating their expectations, their fantasies, their thought process behind something they've seen instead of allowing their partner to experience with them something they create.
Oh, that's good. Okay, I like that. I think, yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you 100% on that. I think now that the consumption is so high that the expectation has increased, right? But the commitment from the other partner, as you just mentioned, since their consumption isn't maybe as high or their perspective isn't the same, because I mean, call it what it is. A man's perspective watching porn, or receiving. This is the topic is porn consumption, right?
Yeah.
But ultimately, you're saying that everything today is
Dang near porn.
Basically close, not right.
What was considered porn in the 50s and 60s and 70s is today's regular.
That's a very true statement. Which means that the standard, as I guess you're saying, shifted. When it comes to this topic. But I guess what I'm really trying to say is that the expectation for both parties and the commitment may not align. So it's messing up a relationship because, again, now you have different expectations on what intimacy looks like.
Right.
Right. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say that I think you have to be really careful with this because, if God created you and your partner to have this intimacy and to be able to have a pleasurable sexual experience together, and the only thing you have are your two bodies and nothing vibrates on your body and nothing, but you start entering all these other foreign things in.
Oh, okay, I get where you're going with it.
You get what I'm saying?
I was like, okay, now I get what you're saying.
You start entering toys and porn, and now I want you to be able to perform like her on that show. You're not doing it the way she did it, therefore I'm not getting pleasure anymore because when I saw her do it, it turned me on. Now I have an expectation of you that you're missing the bar for. Or now I've got this toy that it does a certain thing for me that your body doesn't do, so now your body can't please me in that way. And so that's where I feel like with relationships, I mean, obviously, there's very little that can defile the bedroom, the marriage bed. Sure. But I think that this is something you have to be really careful about because then you start craving the toy and not your husband. Or you start craving the toy and not your wife or the show or yourself. Pleasuring yourself, it has a different feel than your spouse. Ooh. And so you start to allow other things to take the space and desensitize. I think it's almost like when we're watching on the Instagrams and things like that they say that today our attention span is so short and it takes so much more to keep us engaged. I think that happens in today's marital bed space is that there's so much that's coming and competing with your partner's physical body that you need more, you need to add more, and then you need to add more, and then you get bored with each other, and then you wonder why people are walking out, why they're trying extra stuff that was not designed to be in the marital bed.
Wow. So how do you compete then?
Child.
If you're saying that everything that we consume has some type of porn, residue on it, in that sense, a little porn sprinkle on it, like how do you compete when that's all you consume on a daily basis, but now the need is not being met because now you increased the need based on the consumption.
Yeah. Yep.
So how do you keep
that's
your
what I'm saying.
intimacy?
It's hard out here in these streets. No. No, I think this is, again, and I know y'all sick of me. I already know. You already know what we're going to, let's say it together. Ready? Communication. Remember that episode on SpongeBob where he was like, imagination?
Yeah,
I'm going to start doing that with our viewers. Like, okay, communication. That's what it is. We have to communicate. And this is where it gets tricky because that is a touchy space to talk about. Like, hey, I need you to do something else. Like that I don't know if you're going to be comfortable doing, or hey, I need for us to spice things up a little bit.
I saw this on the show last night. Oh my God.
No.
Hey, I need that. Hold on. It's on this episode 2 at 2 minutes and 13 seconds.
Reel you in. Okay. Because no, I think, but
Yeah.
I do think that sometimes things might be like a, hey, missionary just ain't it for me
Yeah.
100% of the time,
Yeah.
but for you guys to be able to communicate in a way that you both feel safe
Yeah.
and both feel like you're getting what you need out of it, being willing to explore to the point of your partner's like comfortability, and being able to have those conversations, I think is important. I think I think a lot of infidelity would probably be able to be solved through just communication, because I think sometimes people are seeking something that they're afraid to ask for from their spouse that their spouse might be willing to do.
Okay.
But they just don't know how to say it. They want you to just know and do it. And since you don't know and do it, I could go over here and ask because I don't have that same relationship.
I got you. Okay, let me
I
play
don't know.
devil's advocate then.
Okay.
Let's say that they saw some stuff on OnlyFans, whatever you do on that.
Get your tail. Look, I'm talking like a mama talking through my teeth. Get your tail.
I'm just saying, maybe they're watching a commercial, maybe they
spending your money. Sorry, go ahead.
maybe they're on Netflix and chilling, and they see some stuff they weren't supposed to see. Whatever it is, right? You're consuming. Now I have this expectation. I come to you with it, and I'm communicating, right? And I say, hey, this is what I need moving forward. Let's try this, or let's entry this, or whatever, right? Because I would like to spice this up, because now I have a new need, a new desire, right? And that's kind of where the problem's coming from, is where's the desire coming from?
Yeah, that's
right?
good.
Yeah, where's the desire coming from? That's another. We'll table that one for now. Hold that there, the desire. But my question is, let's say we communicate, and we bring it to the table, what we feel is necessary. However, it doesn't happen still. That's what I'm saying. I'm playing devil's advocate now. Like,
well,
I didn't keep it from you. I communicated with you.
Right.
But you're not. You say yeah, but you're really not really down.
Yeah, but that's why I'm saying you have to be careful with this stuff, because we don't have to table where did it come from, because that's what we're talking about right now. The porn, the social media, all this stuff. You have to be careful about what you consume, because then it starts to create cravings that you may not be able to quench. And it's like, is that craving more important than your marriage? Is that craving more important than your spouse, right? And if your spouse is willing to go there with you and try something, but then they don't like it, you have to be comfortable with walking it back. So just as much as you want them to walk it forward to try some stuff, if they're not comfortable with that and they're not okay with it, you got to be comfortable with walking it back. It's a give and take in that space. So that's a tough one.
That's a fun one for you, right? Oh, that's only question one.
Right on out there. You know what I mean? We went in.
Yeah, right.
Literally.
No pun intended. All right. The next question I have for you is, are men and women equally responsible for maintaining physical intimacy in marriage?
I think yes. I think typically men end up in this role more often than women. I think men typically are the initiators. And it's kind of like a dip the toe in the water. Is it warm? Is it cold?
Is it a green light,
green
yellow light, red light?
Right,
give me a light.
right. Give me that green light. Hey, that's my song.
Yeah,
but it's like trying to see, where do we stand today? And it's tough. It's tough. I can imagine being rejected all the time is probably tough. Like, it's a red. It's a red and again. It's a red again. I got a headache. No, but I think that it is important for both people to make it important to initiate, because everybody wants to feel wanted. And if you're the person, whether in some relationships it's the woman, some relationships the woman is the constant initiator, and they're feeling, like, oh, he doesn't want me, or he doesn't want to touch me, or whatever. And so whatever the case, the dynamic is, I think it is important that everybody wants to feel wanted. Everybody wants to feel desired. Yep. And everybody doesn't always want to have to be the one to feel rejected, right? And so this is an important thing. Now, for me, I can only speak to my personal experience, right? I haven't always been like, the most sexual person in my past based off of things and, whatever. And so it took me a while to get to that place where I was like really comfortable and in a groove and all of that kind of thing. And it would always be a situation where it was like, you come to me and I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm down. But it wasn't the first thing on my mind. And I think this happens a lot for women. It's like we just have a lot of other stuff going on in our brain. And it's like, oh, yeah, I'm down. Okay, let's talk about
guy's
that.
a light switch. Women are like what is that? Like
an old Volvo. You got to warm that thing up. You can't just turn that thing on and start driving, okay? You're going to leave your muffler somewhere back there.
Old Volvo in Chicago in negative 30-degree weather. Let it go in and warm up for about 30 minutes and come back out and see if it's warm still. All right, that's what you want? Okay, gotcha.
No, but seriously. So I'll just say this, it's important for you both to initiate. I think whatever it takes for you to be able to put that on your mind. Like for me, there was a period of time that I was definitely down, but it was never on my mind, and I recognized that wasn't fair to you. So I would even just put it in my calendar, like initiate here or there and some sporadic times just to remind myself. And it doesn't mean like, oh, I wasn't desiring you, or oh, I didn't want you, or any of those things that I needed to write it down. It wasn't anything like that. It was just that sometimes there's so many things that are happening on your plate. You just have to know what works for you and be okay with that. And over time, I started to find my groove. We started to find our groove. And then, I didn't necessarily need the reminder or the calendar. It just started to be something that was more innate. But anything that's not naturally in your repertoire, like something that you're adding that's not, you're not used to doing all the time, that's something that you have to create into your schedule or into your mindset or into your. And so men are so easy because men are visual, and so you just see and you're like, hey, but for women, sometimes it's not as visual. You have to be in an experience, and that's another tip for the men too. If you want your woman to be more involved there, maybe do some warming. You know what I mean? Maybe, let me pour you a glass of wine. Let me make you a bath, or, put on some music. Let's dance. Put them in that environment and that space for them to start to feel like that's the road they want to go down.
Good. I like that. And so basically a man needs to take his woman to an emotional connection, take them to the mood.
And for women, you need to initiate sometimes. It's not fair for men to always have to be the person and always feel like, does she want me, or is she just saying yes? It's like, I remember at one point there was a time when you used to always just say, I love you too. There was like a period of time where I would say, I love you, baby. You say, I love you too. And you really meant that you loved me too, but it was hurting my feelings a little bit. Like, why don't you ever just tell me you love me first? Like, why is it always just, I love you too? And so that's the same thing that can happen, I think, in the sex life is like, why is it always just, I love you too? Like, why am I always initiating and like, do you want me? That starts to create those questions as well.
Especially today when you're competing, like you just mentioned, with so many things that are so sexual.
Exactly.
And there's so many options that are out here, as well. So that's a very good point, which brings us to our next one, which is, this is a good one actually, can a couple survive emotional intimacy without physical connection? Yeah.
I think so. I think so because if it's a choice that they both made together to have, like, so if it's like, okay, we're dating in a dating relationship and we're choosing to be abstinent. Okay. Is our emotional connection enough to take us to the altar?
Okay, I see that point.
I think yes. Yeah, I think yes.
100%. Yes.
Is that a forever thing? No. No. Because I promise you, as soon as that ring is on that finger, it's like time to go, right?
Yeah.
But I think that if you both agree, but it even says that it even says it in the Bible. It talks about how, you should not hold yourself from one to another when
Okay.
you're married, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if even in fasting, if you choose to abstain from sex with your partner, you both have to agree, and even down to fasting. That's how much physical intimacy is ingrained
Yeah.
into the
Yeah.
marital space, that you both have to agree, even if it's fasting.
That's deep.
Right? And so I think that you both have to agree for that to be your space, for us to be in the space of we're on emotional train right now, versus I'm like, we're good emotionally, we don't need physical, and you're like, says who? Right? What do you think? What's your input on this?
I think that, when the question's asking, can a couple survive? That's deep to me. So survive to me means that, again, you're just trying to make it. Survive emotional intimacy versus, I would look at the alternate is, let's thrive
Yeah.
emotionally. So back to your point, can a couple survive? Yes, they can make it, but are they going to thrive?
No.
The
No.
probability of that is a lot less because of
Yeah.
that.
So
because of that
what
point.
if we flip it? Can a couple survive on physical connection only without emotional?
No, because I think, again, they will survive, right? But they're not going to thrive and elevate, because the whole companionship and covenant wasn't created for only that, right? There needs to be emotional, and then there needs to be physical.
Yeah.
For a woman, you need emotional before it becomes physical. For a man, it's physical, then becomes emotional, all right? But then that comes down to the cycle.
Yeah.
Right? That's why we're opposites, and then we attract and we make one.
Yeah.
And so eventually a man does need the emotional part, but he doesn't feel the emotional until he feels physical first.
Right.
All right. And so for me, like, if I don't feel affection or I don't feel touch or anything like that, I can't emotionally connect with you. Like, I already cut you off, but then you need the emotion from me so that you can physically connect with me.
Right.
And so it's like, okay, which one of us are going to sacrifice what we need the
Yeah.
most so that we can live for each other?
Yeah. That's so good.
And I think that's the major connection. So, answer no.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you think about this? Should couples schedule intimacy, or does it make it feel forced?
Well, yeah, I mean, you just said you scheduled it.
No, not like that. That's different. That's different. Scheduling intimacy is like, hey, on Friday, remember on
Fun with Dick and Jane?
Fun with Dick and Jane, they're like, oh, on Friday we're gonna do it. It's gonna be great. Good night. Right?
I'm gonna go get the
The
demo.
Sade.
This is the demo from Sade, and you like get the candles and I think sometimes you do have to schedule it.
Yeah.
You kind of
Especially
know
if you're busy, you got
you
kids.
got things going on. So I kind of have a two-part to this one. So, like, do we need to schedule it? Yes, in that sense, there needs to be a scheduling, right? But does it make it feel forced if you consistently keep scheduling it? Yes.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah,
Agreed.
I think it can make it feel forced. I think there needs to be, some spontaneity. How you say the word?
Spontaneity.
Spontaneity. What she said, right? I love that word, right?
Yeah.
But there has to be something like that where it comes out the unknown. The unknown makes it fun.
Right.
Right. But I think this only really just comes down to feeling the love language of your spouse.
Right.
And understanding their cycles.
Right.
So just the same way I know when you are going through, your deal, right? Like, men have cycles too. Right? And so just the same way that we're very apparent of your cycle when it's that time of the month, right? I think women need to understand a guy's cycle too, and on that, so that if they understand each other, then they can serve each other when they're in those cycles.
And I think for clarity, when he's talking about a man's cycle, he's talking about like how many days between sessions is it too many days before he starts tripping. You gotta know that number. You really do.
You better know it.
But this is the thing. A lot of times people don't talk about these
They don't
things.
talk about it.
Communication.
Yep. If you don't know my cycle, then all of a sudden you see me get irritable. You start me
Yes.
all these different, like, why are you acting like that?
Like, what you tripping about? It's like, we about to be on day 4. You know, day 3 is the cycle.
Don't play with it. And I think every man has a cycle.
Yeah.
In that sense. And can you shift the cycle? Of course. Can you extend it? Of course. And obviously you got to change some things up, but being clear on that, I think it's very important. But to answer this question, I think it's two-part. It really just comes down to like the communication of you and your spouse and really understanding each other.
Yeah.
Schedule. Because sometimes it's just like, I'm gonna be late to that meeting because we need to do something real fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what it is.
Yeah.
Like just for fun because you don't do it. So, yes, you got to have your schedule, but you got to do some things that are just
spontaneous.
There's some crazy.
And for the record, when I'm saying that I would put it on my calendar, this is not something I'm like, hey Curtis, I'm gonna initiate on Friday. Like, no, this is something that's
let me know
just
what time,
for me.
so I'm ready.
I also have in my calendar where it pops up a couple times a day. What have I done to show Curtis my love today? Does that mean that I don't love him? No, it just means that it's something that's important enough to me that I want to not miss it or not be like so caught up in what I'm doing that I'm not putting attention to it. It's just like pick up your kid lunch on Friday or pick your kid up from school. Doesn't mean you don't love your kid because you don't pick them up from school. It's on your schedule. Yeah, it's not that you're going to forget them or that it's not important to you. It's just that things start to cloud your day and your mind. And so the things that are important enough that you want to remember, and there's some times that you don't even need to look at the calendar. It just happens.
Right.
But if you don't, it's a good reminder of like, ooh, he has been initiating this week. Let me get on it. Like, and that might not mean, oh, it's scheduled, I'm going to initiate today. That might mean I'm going to initiate tomorrow or the next day or whatever it is. But now it's on my mind for that to be something that I need to do.
That's so big because also when I say cycles as well, to piggyback on your point, is sometimes there's seasons or there's points in time where one of the partners they might be in heat, we call it.
Yeah.
Like they're wanting it more than normal.
Yeah.
In that sense. And being clear and understanding like, oh, like this is more than what you're frequent. This might be a different season. Or we can, have more of a conversation about it and abstain from it. But being communicative in that, I think it's very, very important.
Agreed.
On that one. And this is our last one coming down to it. It's been kind of interesting one, huh?
Really?
Would you agree? Yeah, for us. Is withholding affection a valid way to address conflict, or is it emotional abuse?
It's emotional abuse.
Uh-oh, you were serious on that one. She already had her mind made up.
No, it literally, we talked about it earlier. Yeah. It literally says it in the Bible. Like, you are not supposed to withhold that from your partner because it's when two gather, when two would come together, they would become one flesh. Like, you are becoming together as one. That is a part of your covenant in your relationship of marriage. And if you're using that, what God created to bring you together as a weapon, you're weaponizing that, that's not right. Literally, especially in the marital bed, this is also a form of worship.
Baby. It's worship.
It's a form of worship. And so you cannot use that and weaponize it. It's emotional abuse, especially because you're not only just saying like, oh, you're not getting this because it's slap on your wrist that you don't get this, but that also starts to create issues with that person feeling, do they not want me? Ooh, now they're insecure about their personal or about if you want them or your relationship status and all these different things. 100% emotional abuse, and it's not okay.
Okay, so I have a deeper question than that because it kind of piggybacks from the question previously and connecting to what you just mentioned biblically is of the withholding. If the spouse then initiates, but then is rejected because they're in red or whatever it may be, right? Is that a form of withholding though?
Well, I think that so you're talking language they don't understand. So we've got red, yellow, green. So we have this as a conversation. Yeah. So in a woman's menstrual cycle, there's different times that sometimes you're in red and that means stop. It means no, this ain't gonna be a good time at all right now, right? Of course. Yellow, we might be able to put the towel down. Okay. I know this is TMI.
Yeah, we're definitely Here. Okay. Yeah, you definitely open the door. Welcome.
Green,
Okay.
we're go. It's go time, right? But here's the thing is that you just
Okay.
never know. You never know. So you got to know what your cycle is. And so I think that if you know each other's cycle, then you're not in a place of feeling rejected
There you go.
when you're when you're not able, the person is in red zone or they're not able to fulfill in that moment. It doesn't, I'm not rejecting you. I'm saying, this ain't the week,
Yeah.
but next week, I'll let you know when we're back into yellow, when we get into green, where we're at. So I think that it's good. This is a good way that we've used to be able to communicate that, to get around the feelings of rejection.
Of course.
Right. So what would you say? I mean,
Yeah, because I know a lot of men will listen to this and say, well, I initiate and I know her cycles already, and she should be in green, she should be in yellow, but I still feel rejected. So is that still a
when
form
you're
of withholding?
outside of a cycle,
Yes.
that's a different thing. That's a different thing.
That's
when
what
you're
I'm getting
outside
to.
of a cycle.
I'm getting to like,
Okay.
oh, there's been initiation, and we're not worried about that. The red.
Okay.
You're right.
Oh, well, because you said red, I thought. Okay.
Yeah, I'm saying I got you. But you're outside of that. You're not worried about it, but there's still withholding happening.
Yeah.
Because there's still rejection happening. So then is that a form of?
I think there's also wisdom in your timing.
Okay.
Because if I just had a terrible day at work, I got written up at work, I've been fussing with the kids today, I've got a headache, and you coming over here like, you ain't on your cycle today, it's green. It's like, bro, read the room. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I think there's also wisdom in your timing of like the emotional state of your partner.
Are you making it sound like it's me or something?
No,
No,
not you. This is not us at all.
Right,
No.
Let's
You're
be clear.
very good at reading the room.
Okay.
I'm saying to this
abuse
topic.
hotline calling. Golly.
No, I'm saying that it's important for both partners have to have emotional intelligence in this area.
I agree.
Because I think for the spouse that is initiating, they need to make sure that the timing is not off for that person emotionally. And then for the other person, it's like, you can't always have a headache. You can't have a bad day every single day. It can't always be it can't always be something. Sometimes some stuff you got to work your way through. And like, let's be in this space and be grateful for what we have together. Because at the end of the day, there's so many marriages and so many people who don't have the opportunity to have a healthy sex life. And they don't have the opportunity to be able to be intimate with their spouse in that way and create that oneness. And I will say this, there have been times where, like, whenever we counsel a couple, and they're having issues and they're bickering back and forth and all the things, the first question I ask is, when's the last time you guys came together? Because that a lot of times you think it's the last thing you want to do because you feel like you're off and you're like on different pages, but it's because you have not been one in so long that you've gone back to being two. And so you have to come together and to create that oneness again so that you're able to receive from each other in a different way. Like, I know for us, when I notice we're bickering or this and that, I'm like, we might need to come together because
I don't like you right now. Man,
because there's certain things that, like, you just misfire. You just aren't seeing things the same way. You're irritable, different things. And then you come together, it's like, oh, that fight never mattered.
Babe, what you want?
Exactly.
You want a car today? You want a house? That's funny. But
good.
there's a lot in this. And when it comes down to, like, for a man, right? And I can only give my perspective on this one, right? So as a man, when they feel wanted, when they feel needed, and they feel desired by their wife, they'll do anything for their wife. Yeah, but I see women also manipulate or use that as a weapon to make their husband or make their significant partner do what they want them to do. So what's your feeling on that aspect? And it could be vice versa, by the way, using intimacy, right? Or it can be emotional intimacy or physical intimacy as a weapon.
Yeah.
To get something that you want versus doing it for the worship or doing it for the desire of, I want to come together.
The enjoyment of the relationship. Yeah, I think it's problematic. 100% across the board. Emotionally, physically, it's problematic and it's not good behavior. It's not good behavior at all. It's like your kid, telling you a lie to be able to get a snack. Like, I did do potty time. Oh, here's your snack. Oh, wait, the toilet is empty. Oh. It's like, no. I know that's like a very juvenile.
Yes,
That's
very,
where
very
you can
much
see
so.
where we are in our life right now. But I think 100% it's important for everybody to stay on the same page, for the intimacy of the relationship to be the most important thing. Is for you to have the relationship. But I think we're super out of time on this
Yeah.
topic. We could talk for days and
It's
days
easy
on
topic to
this.
talk
It's such a
about.
good topic that a lot of couples deal with. So do you have any closing remarks on this?
No, my biggest thing is sit down, have a conversation about what's important to you. Like, what's the definition of intimacy to you? Because there's physical and then there's what emotional. So, like, what are the things that are that you expect from your spouse or your partner in regards to intimacy? And then ask the question: are you willing to commit to that?
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people, again, are setting the expectation of what they need, but also asking their partner for permission or asking for the acceptance of the commitment so they can compromise and build what their intimacy could look like together. So that's what I would do. Number one.
100% agree on that. Again, always communication. It'll get you
You're
there.
gonna become a meme, right? I promise
I
you.
know, right?
Like,
It'll
look at
get
that.
you there every single time.
Yes.
Knowing each other's cycles, men's cycles and women's cycles, so then you know what your partner's needs are, so that you can make sure that you are being the Advil to the headache that they might have, that you're
Yeah.
able to help each other in these areas and help each other stay on track. Man, this is such a great topic. We had a really great time today.
Yes.
And so we just encourage you to reach inside of yourself and find the places and spaces inside of you that feel like they might be endangered, and just go and develop those areas, because the world needs more leaders. The world needs more healthy examples of relationships and marriages and strong people. They need more examples of that. And I'll tell you this, that it's so important and vital. It's not just important for you to make sure that you survive, but it's also vital to the world. It takes courage, it takes commitment, and it takes a sense of purpose to stand out and lead in this crazy
Sure does.
world. And so we're excited for you to continue to join us on our journey as we help to expose and inform and shine the light on the endangered species around us. All right, guys, see you soon.